I don't know. For some reason, I feel like lives are almost better because you just start going and you don't really think about. I don't know. You just like go with the discussion and let it go where it takes you. Sometimes that you end up going for 3 hours. Or did you see? Was it DJ's Pokey, the new guy on YouTube that everybody's talking about?
I
You know
just
what I'm talking
started
about? He had
watching
like,
it earlier tonight. Yeah,
didn't he have like it was like 7 hours of like live stream where he
something
just had
crazy. Yeah,
everybody on ever.
yeah,
Yeah, so that's the
crazy.
I guess the bad part about lives is like it just could go on forever.
Yeah,
Well, welcome everybody. Welcome back to the Weekly Weedle. This is Shug Nasty, and we don't have Oliver today, as you can see. I have our first guest on the Weekly Weedle, Dark Ibex. He's a friend of mine, a YouTuber, a fellow Japan dweller, and he agreed graciously to be here to fill in for Oliver while he's on vacation. So thank you, Nick. Thank you. I appreciate you coming in here and filling in for Oliver. If you could give an introduction to the viewers and let them know who you are and I guess what you do within Pokemon, what you collect.
yeah. Thanks a lot for having me on. Super excited to be the first guest on this podcast. I've enjoyed every episode so far. As you mentioned, I'm also a Japan dweller. I live in the Kyoto countryside. I have a YouTube channel. I go by Dark Ibex on there, and I try to cover, I don't know, the Japanese side of the hobby a little bit, share some insights from Japan. Whenever I can think of something interesting to share, I try to make a video about it, provide some value that way, or at least I hope I can. I like collecting Japanese cards. I've been liking Japanese cards since 2016, and I try to focus on like the weird niche cards, the unique promos, cards like that. I do enjoy the modern stuff, of course, as well, but my heart is all about the older mid-era vintage promos. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, I think I I think you have a really good grasp of the Japanese market, more better than I do. I know you always say, "Oh no, I'm not an expert," or "I don't know." There's people that know way more, but for me, I think you're like a sound mind and have like a lot of experience within the Japanese Pokemon collecting side. So I love your videos, and for anybody that wants those walk and talk videos and like seeing Japan, that's like one of your things. I think that people know you for is going in Akihabara and like going to the card shops and walking around talking about Pokemon in general. So those are really cool videos that I think a lot of people like. So go check out, yeah, his channel. Um,
Thanks.
but yeah, today we have a some good topics. We have TCG news as always, covering like the topics of the week. Just wanted to get your takes on some of those, and then some kind of larger, more general, broad topics. We can also discuss that people in the space have been talking about. And then for our deep dive today, we're going to talk about gambling and mystery packs. That seems to be like a hot topic right now. Kind of been something that, is people on and off have been talking about, but I just recently felt like a lot of people have been talking about it a lot more because of things happening in that realm of Pokemon. So, but yeah, before we get into that, do you have any pickups, anything new that you've collected lately or want to share with the people?
Should I start? Okay.
Yeah.
So as I just mentioned, I like the weird stuff. Whenever something is kind of niche and isn't talked about by everyone, it always grabs my attention way more than the stuff everyone talks about. For some reason, it's always been this way. And I've also always had a thing for, like I said, promos, sealed promos, but also kind of decks, starter decks. So this week I picked up a kind of a starter deck X and Y.
Oh,
It's
wow.
the Embor EX and Togekiss EX. It's nothing crazy, nothing super insane. There's a beautiful Arcanine card in here, but I just like it as like a sealed item, something you don't see every day. I have a few of these older decks that I like to collect, and yeah, that's something I picked up this week. And the beautiful thing is, because it's something most people don't even know exists. No one's talking about this, right? Very cheap still, so you can find cool
Oh,
stuff like
really?
that. Yeah.
Okay. So you're gonna rip
Yeah.
it right now or rip it on the episode?
No, no, no. I've opened one of these before in the past to get
Have
the
you?
cards, but this one I'm going to keep it like this in the collection.
No, yeah. I'm just kidding.
Damn,
We were
you
just talking
suck.
about that. Yeah, should I open it or should I keep it sealed?
Yeah.
No, that's really cool. I didn't expect you to pull out that. That's yeah, it's cool that you could still get those things. I know. I mean, XY to me it's kind of old now. Looking back at
Yeah,
like
same,
I mean,
same.
yeah. I mean, what is it? 2017, 2018?
Well, that's
Or was
when
that
it
Sun and
ended.
Moon?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah,
So
yeah.
it's XY started, I think, in 2013, if I'm not
Oh, wow.
mistaken.
Okay.
Yeah,
So a
and then
little earlier than I
2016
thought.
was the 20th anniversary. 20th anniversary. That was kind of peak X and Y with like in terms of
Okay.
cards, promo sets, stuff like that. And then 2017, I think, is when we started getting Sun and Moon sets.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know why.
So
For some reason, I flipped those two, the Sun and Moon and X and Y.
yeah.
Um, that's cool. Yeah. I just actually got something in the mail today, and you said you like weird things. This is,
I
I
do.
would say, on the top of the list of weird things. It's called Scratch Monster. It's not, so this is
Oh man, what?
a very bootleg version of Pokemon, and you can kind of see what they try to do with with the Pokemon they're trying to resemble.
Oh
I'm
yeah, yeah.
thinking
So
this is Pikachu, right?
yeah, yeah.
This is
And then we got
probably like a
Nidoran
Nidorino or something, or
or
one of
Nidorino.
those,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
What's this
Nidorina,
one right
maybe, I don't
here?
know. Oh, is that a
I was thinking Jigglypuff,
Jigglypuff? But it's got.
maybe.
Yeah, I mean because it's round, I would say Jigglypuff.
Yeah, I don't know.
What about the guy at the top? That's a Blastoise.
Oh, I don't know. We got a Gundam Gyarados. I don't know if this is.
Oh yeah, that's a Gundam Gyarados. And then it's a Parasect.
Where's Parasect?
Bottom.
Oh yeah, bottom.
Mushroom
Okay, yeah.
crab.
Okay, yeah.
But I was thinking like Blastoise in that. Is that
Oh
like
yeah,
a
this one right here. This
no
guy.
no 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 the small one. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, this is like a tiny little, I don't know, Blastoise. It's just super weird. It's obviously a bootleg item,
That's
but
great.
I'm so happy I could get this. And they're just like little lottery kind of things. You would go to like my
Oh,
wife
it's one
was
of
explaining to
these.
me. You know what it is?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. They
They're
did the
little
Pokemon
envelopes.
stickers like this. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, they're little envelopes, and then you get these little scratch stickers or whatever these are. I don't know. I don't know too much about it. It's really hard to find any information on it. Even the guy I bought it from, he's in Hong Kong, and he's like, I don't know. I found it one day and picked it up. He's like, I've never seen this ever besides this one right here. So just a silly item that I thought was really like cool and unique to put back on the shelf.
Yeah, I love stuff like that.
It's so weird. But yeah, let's get into the TCG news. I'll try to put the title cards up here so I don't have to do it in editing because I don't have Oliver to save me. So starter deck 100. I know we talked about this in your live, but I can't remember. Did you get any of these lotteries for the starter deck 100?
I entered the Pokemon Center one, didn't win it. There's a supermarket lottery here happening right now, but I realized I won't even be here for when it releases. It releases on the 19th.
Oh yeah,
So
you
I'm
said
going to
you're
be in
going, huh?
Switzerland for the holidays. So yeah, I was like, oh, I guess I'm not going to enter then. How about you?
Damn. Yeah, I got I don't remember. I think it was like 4 or 5 that we ended up winning through like lotteries across Pokemon Center and other retailers that we entered. So we got kind of lucky.
Cool.
But yeah, I'm excited for the cards that they've shown so far. These are the 4. I didn't know that. I just saw this today that they have the deck numbers too that you could get these in.
Yeah.
And I don't know if they're just these number, but the post that said, I don't know if it was this post or another post, but they said the Pikachu art is going to be only in deck 25. And I don't know if that's true
Hmm.
or not, but that makes it super, like really difficult, I guess, like a 1 in 100 chance, right?
Yeah, I mean that's how it was in the Sword and Shield Start Deck 100. Every
Okay.
deck it's a unique deck that's associated with a number, and you get like the number card as well in the deck. Like when you pull it out of the pack, you'll see like which number it is without even you don't even have to
Yeah.
like rip it open. And yeah, it's like the Tangela will only be in deck number 83.
Okay. So there's no overlap then.
No, I forgot how it worked with the secret deck because I think there is a secret deck 101 in Sword and Shield, and I forget. But the last time I looked at Bulbapedia, I think they even mentioned something about like a not an official 102, but something else as well. But there's probably going to be a secret deck with some cards you can only get in the secret deck, I would assume. But maybe some of these will be in there as well. I wouldn't bet on
Okay.
that though. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know they were going to be like one deck only has the Pikachu. I thought it was going to be like maybe 5 decks had the Pikachu. So that
At
I
least
like
that's
because I
how it
like the
was. That's
chase.
how I remember it. So I
Okay.
could misremember it, but yeah.
Out of these cards, the Eevee, the Slurpuff, the Tangela, as Ern was saying earlier, the Tangela,
Tangela, yeah.
the Tangela, and the
Oh,
Pikachu.
goodness.
Which one would you want? What's your chase? I guess.
I mean, it's hard to say no to a Pikachu card, but I like the Tangela the most.
The
Yeah,
Tangela? Okay. Art wise, I think that
Tangela.
one, yeah, I think that one is like, I don't know if it's the colors or what, but like the art of that card is probably the top one for me.
It looks really good.
Um, I
I
think,
might have said the Eevee normally, but because we already know the Eevee artwork
yeah,
from the English side of things, I'm not as excited about it because I already knew it. But it's a really good artwork as well.
yeah, I think I'm gonna pick the Eevee though. Even with knowing that, I really like that card, and because I only collect Japanese, I mean mostly collect Japanese, I didn't really want to pick it up in English, so I'm excited to see that card come out in Japanese. I don't
Yeah.
know if we're gonna get any more. Like you said, the Sword and Shield, did they have like a lot more art rares or these kind of cards in those decks? Do you know, or was it just like like very few?
Well, we didn't have art rares back then,
No, not art
so
rares,
it
but
was
like these
V's.
like higher end, I
Yeah.
guess, chases, not like art rares, but
One of the bigger ones in the regular decks was the Pikachu V full art, which is the
okay,
regular
yeah,
full art artwork. And then the secret deck had the Marnie, um, if I remember
okay,
correctly.
yeah, the
And then
Marnie,
it had the gold Galarian birds. They were in there as well. I'm not sure about the
okay,
rest
yeah,
anymore. But you can go to Bulbapedia. They have every single deck listed exactly. It's a
okay,
huge page, obviously. Um, but there was a
yeah,
few. There was a few like sort of chase decks.
yeah. It'll be cool to see. I think I'm gonna rip all the decks I get, and I'll probably not hit any of these, but I'm gonna try.
You, you never know. You never know.
uh, Deck 101, here I come. And then this card, this is the one I was talking about earlier that they just showed on X, and it's I don't know if I'm understanding the post exactly, but it said something to the effect that it's a part of the starter deck, or they said the Koro Chao starter deck 100. I don't know if you know what Koro Chao
Oh,
is.
yeah. Okay. So what they did in Sword and Shield is that they had a post start deck 100. They had a lottery for the Koto deck 100, start deck 100, which is a completely
Oh,
separate deck.
oh, okay.
And back then it was like officially announced as well 100,000 decks they printed and released in the lottery.
Oh, wow.
And that one had the Pikachu and EVVs were in there with the Koto logo.
Oh, okay.
Um,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I know that card.
yeah, I still have one sealed sitting around. I think it's pretty cool. And so I assume that this will then be this year's or this time or this version of the Koto deck, the new one. Because if you
Yeah,
look at the
and
set number as well, it's only out of 23, and if you go back to the start deck 100 cards, there's like out of 700 and something.
okay.
Yeah.
All right. So this guy, have you seen this guy?
Oh yeah. I watched. I remember. I think I've watched one of his videos in which he
Okay.
opened like a 5 million yen Pokemon mystery bag like a
Oh,
couple of years ago,
wow.
and it was like base set booster box and this and that and all the crazy stuff.
That's
Yeah,
crazy.
I think it
Yeah,
was this guy.
he's huge. Like my wife even knows who he is, but she's like, yeah, he does like all kinds of content, but he does Pokemon content too sometimes. And and yeah, they made a card of him for this.
That's cool. I like the video title. Yabasugiru.
Yeah, yeah,
Too
boss.
crazy.
Yeah, 200,000 views in 4 hours. That's
But that's cool,
wild.
man. I like that, and that's a cool looking artwork. That's definitely one I'll be picking up. Wait, but so sorry, where did they say that it's a Koto deck?
Let me
You said something
see.
about
I don't know if this is the post I saw earlier.
oh
Right
there.
here. Yeah, Koto Chow version.
There's a cool promo though, right there in the top post, the bottom right card.
Which one?
This one.
Oh, who is
Do
this?
you know it?
No.
Abareru-kun. I think this was
Abareru-kun.
limited to 5,000 copies. Pretty neat.
Oh, wow. Is he like one of
Yeah,
those comedians or something that's on TV all the time or?
I think so. Yeah,
Okay. Yeah, this I know
comedian,
this
TV
one
host.
too. Um he's a musician, I think, that did the music for the Coco movie.
Oh, that's
Um
cool.
and then he is also an actor. Do you know that new samurai movie that just came out on Netflix, like Last Samurai Standing? It's
Nope.
pretty popular. It's on Netflix right now. It's like a one series TV show, but he's one of the characters in he like debuted and his like acting debut was in that TV show, and it's
Okay.
doing yeah, it's a pretty good TV show if you like samurai type films. Were you the buyer
Oh,
of this? Or were you the one that The Kabuto King, $51,000 for this first edition Kabuto.
Crazy, eh?
Yeah, me and Oliver were kind of talking about this last week when it was a little bit bigger news when the guy was just kind of posting about how he's trying to collect every single Kabuto first ed copy. An impossible mission, some might say, but he posted, he signed a copy and said that this was the only copy he was going to let go of. And he put it up on, I don't know what auction platform it was. If it was, I think it was eBay. Yeah. And he said that the proceeds would all go to St. Jude's Children's Hospital. And it sold for $51,100.
Crazy.
Yeah. I don't know if I think Logan Paul was actually, I saw a video of him trying to bid on it. I don't know if that was
Oh,
real or
really?
not, but yeah, he bet 51,000 right at the end and he got outbid by $100 and he's like, no. But
Yeah,
I was like, oh, Logan Paul is still buying Pokemon cards. I didn't know that.
this is it's very interesting. I mean, that the such a big donation to the you said what is it, Children's Hospital?
Yeah, St. Jude's Children's Hospital.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah, and I know like some people, I mean, he said his intention was to capitalize on the publicity that he was getting from it, and he's had some like, I guess people saying that he's trying to pump this card, and then others saying no, he's a collector and he's just having fun with it. I don't know if he is trying to pump it. I kind of believe him that he actually likes this Pokemon. I wasn't sure at first, but um,
Yeah, it's always hard to know what someone's true motivations are online. I like to think he just really likes Kabuto. But then once PSA 10 starts selling for $2,000, it's gonna be hard for him to just keep holding on to all those cards. I would think so. I don't know.
yeah, then you're then I don't know what I would do in that situation if I was like it started out where you're you're just like, oh, this is cool, I'm gonna collect all these, and then but then they start getting worth something and you're like, huh, it would be dumb for me not to let go of a few.
Yeah, it's a weird thing where like it's such a 2025 thing, isn't it? Where something starts out pretty wholesome and just kind of funny as well, like a bit of a meme. There's this one Japanese collector a few years ago who collected just one card. I forgot which card it was, but they had their like the entire room full of that card. And when you
Oh
see that,
wow.
it's like, wow, there's someone who just really likes a card, which is awesome. But then, 2025, of course, it has to turn into a money thing suddenly, and the PSA slabs on eBay get pumped like crazy, and it's like, I don't know, it takes a bit of the wholesomeness away in my eyes.
Yeah, there is some people that are making money off of it. It was like a $2 card originally, now it's like a $40 card raw. But I've seen people like post pictures of their Kabuto and they're like holding it for ransom. They're like $500 or nothing, or like
That's pretty
just
funny.
joking, or yeah, like to like
Yeah.
they're like, oh, you're not getting mine. I think Oliver has one. He said, and he's like, I'm never getting rid of it.
Yeah, heck no.
Really quickly, I just wanted to cover some sales of vintage cards because that's been like a topic that people have been saying how vintage prices are kind of going up where everything else is, falling. Modern boxes and other cards that were pumped up really high a few months ago are kind of falling or correcting, whatever you want to call it. These vintage cards are continuing to go up, or some are actually seeing all-time highs. And this no rarity Blastoise kind of being one of them. I don't know if this is the highest. If I was to guess, and from memory, I think it might be the highest for the sale for this card. But no rarity
For the
Blastoise, and
Blastoise,
yeah, PSA 10 for 231,000. I don't
I
remember any
mean,
sales going for that
yeah,
much.
I don't keep all that up to date with no rarity 10 PSA 10 sales, but I wouldn't be shocked if this was the highest. We just had the highest Charizard not too long ago.
Yeah, it was
Um,
like 600,000 or something.
yeah, I mean, whether the price itself is justified, I guess to someone it was. I think that's a lot of money for a Pokemon card, but I like seeing the no rarity cards get some love because they are the true first cards. So I think they're pretty awesome.
Agreed.
Um,
I think they're rare too, honestly. Like the pop on this is 6.
oh, they're
Um,
so low. Look at
yeah.
CGC though, because I remember a while ago, maybe not so much these days anymore, but maybe a year or two ago, a lot of Japanese people graded their no rarity cards with CGC because of no upcharges.
Oh, really?
So there's probably a pretty high pop in
Okay,
CGC. Yeah.
that's good to know. That makes sense.
Oh,
That no rarity?
yeah.
Oh yeah, I forgot you had one.
But it's
Didn't
probably
you?
like a
Yeah.
PSA two.
That's still that's
It's
awesome.
yeah. Yeah.
That's
I
one
like
I
no
don't
rarity a
have.
lot. Yeah. I know you said you were trying to do a no rarity like master set.
Yeah, like of any kind of condition, really.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. You kind of have to.
The Charizard's impossible. It's like for I remember like 3 or 4 years, maybe 3 years ago, it was like you could get a beat up copy for $300 to $500 maybe, and now it's
Yeah.
like 1,500 is the lowest I'm seeing.
One of my core memories from when I got back into the hobby in 2016. For those unaware, I got back in 2015, 16, 17, then took a break again, and then got back in 2021 again. But in 2016, I was card shopping in Japan, and I don't have like all that many like super like many memories from that time. But one memory I have is seeing a Charizard card in a card store for 100,000 yen, and just thinking to myself, this was 2016, right? Holy cow, 100,000 yen for a card. Now I don't remember if it was a no rarity card or not, no rarity card, but it probably was a no rarity card for that price at that time, and it probably was relatively clean if it was 100,000 yen in 2016. But that's
Yeah,
one I remember seeing in the store. Who knows?
yeah,
It might have been the $600,000 PSA 10 sale. That might have been that card. It's possible.
yeah. It honestly is. It's crazy to think because I've heard like other people talk about price history and where prices were, and that was just so much for a card, like unreasonable. Like in that time, those were some kind of like crazy prices, and it's like,
Yeah.
no, why would you buy it
I
for
mean,
that? It's
this is
it's
when Crystal Charizards were 20,000 yen.
that's wild.
Yeah.
It's like a $30,000 card now or something, right? And one more vintage card just to
Oh,
yeah to dream.
to dream.
8.5 Illustrator Pikachu, not a 9, not a 10, an 8.5 went for 610,000
Haven't they gone for more before?
for an 8.5.
Oh, 8.5.
Yeah, I don't
I
know if
guess
for an
not.
8.5. I
Yeah.
think a 9 and a 10 may have. Obviously the 10. I don't know if there is there a 10. There's one 10. Logan
Isn't
Paul's
the
10,
Logan
right?
Paul one the famous 5 million one where it was
Yeah,
like purchase and a trade or something?
I think it's like 1 million in cash and then or no, it was a trade
Something
for a
like that.
9 and then 4 million in cash or something.
Right, 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 right.
Yeah. Um, which is it's so crazy with you'll see what we I mean. Obviously PSA is probably grading this card a lot harsher than any other card, but it's just it doesn't really matter at this point. I feel like for this card, to me, grade wouldn't really matter with these kind of cards. Maybe to
No,
some people it does if you're in that echelon of collector where you just got that money to show off, where you're like, I need the best of the best. But I feel like to most people, it doesn't matter that much for this card.
no. There are a lot of cards that are way cheaper where I don't care about the condition either.
Yeah,
Like that Blastoise I just showed is a good example. But yeah, it's nuts. Eh? It's always funny when PSA brings out the 8.5. It's like,
why?
yeah,
I don't understand it. There's no 9.5? Is there a 7.5, a
yeah.
6.5? Is there? I've never seen any
It,
other point 0.5 grade. I think there's a
it's more like
1.5 I've
so.
seen.
Yeah, they hardly ever give cards 8.5s, right? So it's like it feels weird.
It's like an FU.
Yeah, yeah. But isn't the Illustrator a good example of a card where more copies just keep appearing? Everyone thinks we've kind of seen them all, and then there's suddenly another one, uh, coming out of Japan ungraded and stuff like that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
very very sketchy. I remember a couple years ago when illustrators were like the big thing, and it was they still kind of are the big thing, but when they really were building momentum and like uh the general populace was like becoming aware of them, people were saying like, oh, the pop's this many, the pop's 20, and then the pop's like 38, and the pop's 42, and people are like, well, I think there's 100 because of the way the prints had to be, the sheets had to be printed. You could like theorize that there's this many, but recently I haven't heard of anybody throwing out new numbers. Have you?
no, not recently.
Yeah, I wonder if it's just they haven't been finding anymore, or if it's they're keeping it under wraps that there's more out there because people are like trying to protect the card's value. But that'd be some wild stuff if a whole sheet of them was found later or a couple sheets.
Can you imagine? I don't think that's the case, but
No, not.
yeah. I
Um,
mean, amazing card.
yeah, I mean I kind of some people might say this is a crazy amount to pay for a card, but for cards like this, even like the Blastoise we were just talking about, I don't disagree with the price point, honestly. Compared, like when you start comparing it to other things in the hobby and what the prices we're seeing for certain cards, I'm like, this makes more sense to me, even though it's a lot of money and I would never spend it on that card because I don't have that kind of money. It makes more
Yeah.
sense to me that this is this price versus like the VMAX Umbreon, the Moonbreon being $3,000 in a PSA 10. In my mind, I can justify this more. I don't know why.
No, I get that. I kind of feel the same way, although it's super hard because I cannot relate to this
Yeah,
whatsoever.
yeah, I can't relate in it, but
but
yeah,
but I get what you mean. Like I see that as well, and I see that also with like tons of other older cards, that have
yeah, not
relatively low
even
pops that are 20 years older that are really cool, but are like half the price. It's like, oh, okay,
the PSA 9, this whole PSA 9 debacle. People are probably tired about hearing about this. Are you tired of it? Are you sick of it yet?
I've only
Have
heard
you?
about it a couple times.
Okay.
Um,
Have you
yeah,
given your take to anybody yet? I know you're on lives
I've
and stuff, but
I've not really given my take. No, have you?
okay. I don't know if I have on a live yet. I definitely in the comment sections. I've been there on people's videos. But for anybody who doesn't know what we're talking about, this is a post that was on Twitter by this person named Preston. Their handle is PZPTCG. They had submitted cards to PSA, I think 30 of these Pikachu Zekrom GX tag team cards, thinking they might get 10 of them come back as PSA 10s out of the 30. I think all of them came back as nines, or most of them came back as nines. And with through PSA's offer system,
I think it was
uh,
all nines.
was it all? Okay.
I think, or maybe I think it was also like a seven, if I remember correctly.
Yeah,
But
no
no
tens though,
tens.
right?
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, and there was a offer like through PSA's like buyback program or offer program. He was offered the PSA 9 price, and I think he decided to keep a few, but then he sold some back to get some of that money back. And then for some reason later went back and checked, and correct me if you know anything different about this story, but he later went back and like looked at the submission, and then after receiving the money from PSA, saw or noticed that the same cert numbers you can see right here, it ends in 908 and it says PSA 9 on the label. But when he went back in after the offer had been accepted, you can see on this picture the same cert number 908 says it's a gem mint 10. So PSA went back in and changed the grade after the fact and changed the label after they had paid him the PSA 9 price. So the card, they now own the card, but it's a 10. And so people were he kind of complained online about this and was like, whoa, what's happening? Rightfully so. I would be um, kind of, pissed off and like, what's going on? And it became a big thing. The post blew up. I think like 800,000 or it says 650,000 views on this post, and uh, people were it became popular. PSA had eyes on it and kind of explained it as there was an error in the system. A grader went back and manually reviewed the cards, and sometimes they do that in their process. And the systems that accept the offers are different from the systems that post the grades, something like that. Nat Turner said. And so there was like a lack of communication, and it was just an error that happened. But they ended up like refunding him the money and saying it was like a one-time thing. This has never happened before, which I don't know if I believe. But what are your thoughts on it, and what do you think about the whole thing?
I liked Pokemon Steven's take on it. I don't know. Did you watch his video?
I was listening to it briefly. I was out running, so I couldn't hear completely because I didn't have headphones. But can you like let me know what he said?
He was basically saying like, forget about all the, the conspiracy theories of PSA buying the nines and then grading them into tens. He was more like, it's crazy that someone can complain on Twitter and have grades reviewed, but after complaining, which is outrageous in a way.
Yeah, because that's what actually I don't think I mentioned that. Yeah, he complained, and then the grader went back in and reviewed it because of that, right? He saw the post or something because it went viral.
I think that's at least that's kind of the order of events from the way I understood it.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, and Pokemon Steven, he gave a good example of someone else doing that like years ago with a big Gold Star submission where they were like outraged by it, complained to PSA, called them, emailed them over and over until they went back and regraded the cards. And it's
So this
like,
isn't the first time then, right? It's happened before.
yeah, but it's crazy that they like would do that. If that's what happened, because like we've all gotten some grades we didn't agree with, right? Yeah, we're not professional graders, but we can look at a card and the condition, and sometimes you get a nine, and you're like, it shouldn't be a nine. Um, I think him getting not a single 10 is pretty insane. Uh, that order probably deserved being looked at again. But I don't know. Um, the whole buying of the nine by PSA and then grading them to tens afterwards, I think that's just a bit silly. I think that's just an honest mistake by them. Like, why would they do it in their system and have the same cert still there that's then visible to the person who submitted the card? Like, that's crazy. Like, I
Yeah,
don't
it
think
sounds
that
like an actual error, and not
yeah,
like some malicious intent.
yeah.
My take, I get where people are coming from. People are like, obviously, it's like internet mob. Once it gets enough traction, people are just going to jump in and add on to it. But I get like from the guy's point of view. If that happened to me, I would be upset because I'm getting paid for a nine, and the card's now a 10. I would want my money for the 10. I'd want the card
Oh
back if
yeah,
that's something I wanted. But I
sure.
honestly don't think this was malicious intent, and I think people are saying, "Oh, this is crazy. PSA is doing to this," but they've been doing it to us, in my mind, in a bit of a different way. With PSA nines, cards that maybe should be tens getting sent back to us as PSA nines, and we look at the card and we crack it, and then we resubmit it and we get the 10. That's like something very common for people that flip cards or grade cards for per profit to do, where they'll Pokemon Steven, he had a video where what is it, like 200 cards?
Something crazy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
something crazy where he like cracked 200 PSA nines, resubmitted, and like 100 came back tens. So PSA knows that people that they have entire businesses built off of like regrading cards, buying lower grade cards, looking at them, seeing if they're worth resending, and they'll crack them, resubmit it, send them. They're aware of that. Not saying they have that intent to give you a lower grade, but it's something that is a kind of a part of the variability in how PSA grades, and we've been kind of aware of like that happening. So I don't think this is any worse. And if it was to keep happening, and like you said, they I don't think they can keep getting away with it. If it was a malicious thing, people are obviously gonna notice that, and it would
Yeah.
be like an illegal thing if it kept happening.
I mean,
Yeah,
yeah,
I don't.
grading is subjective. Humans are flawed. I would like to think that after this many years in business, if someone gets whatever 25 nines in a row, that the grader would themselves like think twice about it. It's like, are these really all exactly the same condition? Let's look at them again one more time. I don't know. You would hope so. But, again, it's all subjective. They make mistakes. It's like when I order cards from card stores online, sight unseen. I have a bulk order of 40 cards. A certain percentage is always going to be in not A condition. Even if everything I would order is A condition, there's always going to be some of them that are going to be A minus, or should probably be sometimes B plus, B minus condition. They don't have a lot of time to look at these cards, just like PSA graders don't spend all that much time looking at cards. So, um, like you said, I don't think they're sending you PSA nines intentionally hoping that you regrade. I don't think that there's like this malicious intent there. It's
Hmm.
just the nature of grading, and it stinks.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. I don't know if
it
they're
is what it
intentionally
is.
doing it, but I feel like they're uh, not what's the word, ignorant to the fact that they don't grade perfectly either, and that it does happen, and that's
Oh,
kind of like
sure.
a lot of their monthly revenue is probably from that. They're aware of people resubmitting cards because it's just such a common practice for people cracking cards and resubmitting because of the jump from a 9 to a 10 and the disparity in price. Like I said, people have like entire, I don't know if people do it now, but I remember back in the day, people just, that was their business model for flipping cards, was either taking a CGC slab or a PSA slab or
Yeah.
whatever and resubmitting it.
Yeah. No, I'm sure they're aware. very much aware that people resubmit, and I'm sure they know that they're making good money from that. Might even be a reason why they don't maybe feel such a need to improve the way they grade or something, right? Could be
Mm.
as well. But they're not looking at your cards and going like, okay, only this percentage can get a 10, everything else can get 9 max, right? That's not happening. That'd be
Yeah.
insane.
Like they have quotas for like this many need to be 10s, this need to
Yeah,
be 9s.
no, definitely
Yeah.
not. But yeah, grading is funny. Grading is funny. And it's like, and there's so many people then who look at AI grading as this is the solution, but that whole thing is so flawed as well.
I was gonna bring that up. Yeah, it's people are like in the comment section like, oh, that's why tag is the best. That's why tag is the best. And I don't know if they've seen Java's video. I know I made a video on tag where I had a lot of 10s. I think every card but one was a 10. But he's had some cards where if you haven't seen Java Akuma, go look at his video about tag cards, and he takes tag cards, cracks them, and they come back different grades. And the argument is that people say tag AI grading is perfect and it catches everything and it's consistent and it's not going to have that variability like PSA. But that video kind of is proof that it does have variability and that the system's not perfect yet. I think that they have a place for like AI grading does have a place, maybe not tag, but some form of AI grading, and it should be the way moving forward. I feel like for grading, and if it can be perfected, that would be awesome. Where there's no subjectivity or variability in grading, or very minor, but who knows if we'll get there. Some people argue that they need that human eye or that eye appeal that a robot can't see or an AI model can't see. I don't know
I
if
kind
that's
of
needed
feel
or
that
not.
way.
Do you?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, because there's so much variation in the type of damage on the card. Right? Near
That's
mint
true.
is different, but once you get into those lower grades, it like damage can be so unique.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I think that's very very difficult to have that like a computer assess that the same way like a human would interpret the condition of a card. I don't know. But to me, with the AI grading stuff, like, I mean, we don't have to go too deep down this rabbit hole, but to me, it's like the crazy thing to me is like these companies saying, hey, yes, we're not perfect. They react to these videos. Yes, our system still makes mistakes. We just need more data to get better. But that means every single card graded is like graded by an imperfect system. And every card graded going forward will be graded by a better system. So
Yeah.
the newer certs will always be graded by a more accurate, better system, which then automatically lowers the desirability and value of the older certs because they were graded by an imperfect system. And that continues as long as the system keeps learning, which probably
Yeah.
continues forever, technically. I don't know. It doesn't make sense just from a
That's a
logic
good point.
perspective.
Yeah. Yeah, I never really thought about that. I wonder, eventually I would think that there's only so many ways you could damage a card, but then you have different types of textures or holofoils in the future that Pokemon changes something in the card stock that affects the AI. So who knows? That could be a never ending
Yeah.
cycle. And then it's just, there's nothing to compare it to, because you're like, well, those certs weren't graded the same, and it's like a never ending cycle, like
mean,
you said.
Maybe eventually they're like, okay, this is it now. We're going to stop,
Yeah.
changing the system. But it still means everything graded before that point will be considered worthless.
Yeah. I guess, yeah,
'Cause
that's a
it's,
really
yeah,
good point. That's why, like you said, there needs to be a human element of grading, and maybe just AI assisted. Yeah.
maybe we'll see.
Yeah. Yeah, I was
Yeah.
gonna pull this up as an example when you said like when you get to the lower grade or condition cards, how does AI grade those things? And I was like, what would AI grade this? This thing is,
I mean, yeah.
I don't even know if this is
I
worth a
love
1,
that.
right?
Dude, that's so good. Did you grade it as authentic?
No, I got it.
Oh, it's the one. Okay.
I was gonna be, if they grade this anything other than a 1, that's something's going on there.
Yeah.
I wanted the 0. I don't know if they should make
Yeah, I
a
mean
0
that's
grade.
especially the one thing that's like, when they have 1,000-point scale, like claiming to be accurate to 1,000-point scale is wild. But then,
Yeah.
what's a 15 out of 1,000 compared to a 23 out of 1,000? compared to a 42 out of 1,000.
Yeah, that makes
It's just
sense.
how are you going to be like? There's no way to be accurate like that with that lower condition, especially, right? Like, so I don't know.
Yeah, yeah, that's a good point. Um, I was going to talk about the One Piece, but I think for the sake of time and just go on to the main discussion.
Sure. I don't know much
Um,
all that much about One Piece anyway, so
okay. Okay, so for our deep dive, I don't have any slides, but I think people will be familiar with this because Oliver and I have talked about this briefly in our discussions on previous episodes of the Weekly Weedle. I wanted to talk about the topic of gambling in Pokemon and mystery packs. We've kind of briefly talked, maybe not so much on gambling from a philosophical perspective or what it means for the hobby, but we've talked about the GameStop power packs, the Fanatics instant rip stuff, Courtyard.io, all these mystery packs coming up from corporations or bigger players in the game, and the I guess commercialization of it. In the past, we've seen mystery packs have kind of always been a thing. Some people argue that booster packs from Pokemon are mystery packs, or the Oripa from like card stores are mystery packs. But I think mystery packs, like from a point of like what most people understand it as, really started probably for me, from what I can remember, as like when PokeRev or like content creators, like ShinyVert or Goated Pools, people like them, um, started the popularization of mystery packs, so is what we know them, and then kind of moved on with to like the next stage of evolution with whatnot streamers and making it more popularized and more mainstream to where everybody's kind of doing it as a business model within Pokemon flipping or making money in Pokemon. And now you see, like I said, GameStop, Fanatics, and other companies really optimizing it and making it a I don't know if you want to say reputable, but just optimized business model for selling them. And I wanted to know your take because a lot of people have been talking about how it's gambling, it's unregulated gambling, and it could be hurtful to the hobby. It could be, dangerous. It's not regulated, so kids are getting onto these websites and gambling their money or their parents' money away, or they're building addictions with these things. They're starting kids young. What do you feel about, I guess, all of that, and what do you think about it?
where do I begin?
It's a lot, I guess, but yeah.
I have very mixed feelings about it. Like, part of me is like, not a big deal. Like, when I think about the Japanese side of things, it's been a thing here since forever. Like,
Hmm.
you mentioned the Oripa, the mystery packs in Japanese card stores. Like, what was the GameStop one? A $2,500, the big one that they
Yeah,
advertised, 2,500, $2,500
the lunar
slab.
packs. Yeah.
Card Rush sometimes has 1 million yen mystery packs on their
Oh,
website,
really?
and you just order it. Like, I've never done it, obviously.
I
I
didn't
think
know
I've
that.
even seen 5 million yen ones before. Like, we're talking
Oh,
like
wow.
35, 40 grand for
That's
just mystery
crazy.
product from Card Rush. They might have something up right now. So, like, like GameStop feels like child's play. but
Yeah.
also, this digital mystery pack, right? So the digital mystery pack for a slab.
Mm.
There's also nothing new in Japan. A big one in Japan is Clove. I don't know if you've heard of Clove before.
Yeah, I have.
Um, yeah, they were buying a lot of slabs on the market in 22, 23 when Japanese was booming back then.
Mm.
They were part of why the market boomed so much back then. Not the only reason, but one of the reasons. And a lot of people talked about them at that time. And again, that was like 2.5 years ago. So to me, there's nothing new, right? But it's interesting you bring up the mystery stuff on Whatnot and everywhere else, and I think it's definitely going a bit out of control. Where I feel like it's I don't know, it it's getting a bit extreme. It's like
Yeah.
it's I don't know if it's just because we see it on social media, and so that might be some bias there where we see it more than it actually happens, but it's definitely concerning when you bring up the kids. That is a concern. I definitely don't think it's the same as opening a booster pack from Pokemon. That is very different. Yes, if your metric is spend money, get something out of it that is worth money, if that's the only metric you go by, then yeah, it's the same thing. But there's so many other reasons that make opening a Pokemon pack from Pokemon very, very different in so many ways. But with the younger, with the kids and the young adults, um, it reminded me a bit of I don't know if you were aware of this, but the CS:GO case opening websites that were a big deal a few years ago, where some YouTubers, like big YouTubers, were promoting them on Twitch and on YouTube, and they had their own websites even, and they were making a lot of money, and a lot of people were losing a lot of money on those websites. And it was basically the same thing. You were gambling online for CS:GO skins there in that case, whereas here is slabs, right? Um, and that eventually got some of those people into, I think, pretty bad legal trouble, if I recall. Because
Okay.
it was unregulated gambling. Maybe not in the US, but I think over in Europe. So, yeah,
Like the
I
people
don't
at
know.
CSO Go got into like some kind of legal trouble, or the influencers that were
The
promoting it.
influencers, yeah,
Okay. Did
if
it
I remember
regulate
correctly.
that market at all? Like with how they were, I don't know. Was there any regulation after that with how those mystery boxes
Actually,
or loot boxes were sent out,
I
I
actually don't
guess?
know what the outcome was, and I don't even know if the site still exists. I think they're probably still a thing.
Hmm.
I mean, it's still a thing in the actual game
Let's say,
itself,
yeah, like
right?
other games. I
Yeah,
never played CSGO, but other games I played where you can spend real money to get keys or whatever to unlock chests to get skins. And that's
yeah,
kind
Counter
of,
Strike, yeah, yeah.
yeah. I know Jake, Twice Big Jake brought up he's like, Pokemon does it with Pocket. And I thought it was funny. He's like, it's a digital mystery pack, but it's not the same thing. Like you said,
Oh,
there's no money involved with like, as far as like, you can't sell that card. I mean, people figured out a way to sell accounts, I think, or
yeah,
sell
yeah.
the cards to like, you can trade me whatever and I'll trade this card with you. But I don't think it's like exactly the same as digital mystery packs on GameStop.
No,
Um,
it's very different in my opinion.
yeah,
Fundamentally different. Yeah.
yeah, fundamentally different for sure. And I think a lot of the videos we see, like you said, is for these mystery packs is um, like a primary focus on the value of the card and what you're gaining or losing off of what you put into to pull that card. From like content, from a content perspective, I don't know if that's the way it's being promoted by these big corporations, but um, I know a lot of people are wondering like, are we going to see regulation? I know earlier Whatnot, like earlier a couple months back, Whatnot is saying you have to, if you're doing mystery packs or any kind of mystery bags on their site, you have to get them um, verified by a third party to have them, the integrity of them checked to make sure that you're not scamming with them. And PSA is starting to offer a service for that now. So there's some kind of regulation, whether or not that's enforced well and to what extent we'll see. But um, I wonder if any like legal like entity or government entity is going to step in and regulate it even more, or if that's already coming and that's why they're preemptively maybe trying to get ahead of it. We seen like Dan talk about Fanatics having percentages and expected values and stuff like that to be like very transparent with what you should expect from it.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah,
but
transparency regulation is very important with this kind of stuff. I mean, it's like, you know, gambling is like it's a pretty serious thing. Like people like destroy their lives through this stuff. Like it's like, and to see it come more and more into Pokemon is definitely a bit concerning, I think. Uh and so like this transparency and regulation is definitely needed. And so I'm glad to see that like Fanatics is that transparent. I think that's very important. I think because when you combine, let's say the Whatnot example, right, the bad apple zone there, when you combine gambling with rigged results, then it's like
mm,
double bad. I don't know.
yeah.
Yeah.
Will
How do you
will
feel
we
about? By the way, I wanted to ask you, how do you feel about the statement that like, oh, it's just like opening a booster pack from Pokemon?
I get what they're trying to get at, the argument there. It's but I don't think it's the same thing like you said. I don't think it's there's you can open a Pokemon pack for different reasons, not just value. I think a lot of people probably do open it for either because they play the TCG, because they just like the cards, they want to put them in a binder, they want a master set. A lot of people that master set will buy a booster box to start their master set. They'll build off of that whatever they pull from that booster box. So I don't think it's necessary. Like there's a sense of like because gambling in the sense you don't know what you're getting. So you're taking a gamble, I
Yeah.
guess, for lack of
Yeah.
better
Yeah.
words, on what you're going to pull from it. But it's not the same, like you said. I don't know exactly how to put it into words, but there's a difference, disparity in the, I guess, the like the amount of focus you're putting on the monetary gain from it versus a digital power pack or a courtyard IO power pack or whatever they call them. Um, yeah,
Yeah, and it's also like just the way these websites are designed, the animations. It just looks like an online casino.
yeah,
It's
the
like
lights and flashing and yeah, it's very
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Las Vegas
And
casino.
the content creators that spend money on there as content, it's the same way as like the gambling content on Kick and stuff like that. Yeah, it's
I saw I
yeah.
saw some content creator and he was, I don't know who it was, but he was doing the power packs and he's like, he hit it and he's like, oh, it's starting, but the thing was muted. And he's like, oh, where's the sound? He's like, that's the best part. And he was, because like all the noises and
So funny.
excitement, and he was like trying to find the unmute button. But it's a perfect example to what you were saying, where it's like it's very casino-esque, where there's lights and music and noises, and it's exciting. And even if the kids aren't, this is, we have on the thumbnail a $2,500 power pack, and it's the kids aren't going to be the ones buying that unless they're getting their parents' credit card. But through content, you get that little bit. Maybe it's not the same amount of like dopamine hit, uh, as if you were going to open the pack yourself, but just watching somebody spend that amount of money, and especially in a live setting, seeing somebody put that much money on in a live setting on a power pack to see what they're going to get, you get a small amount of dopamine, and it just builds that gambling, that chemical reaction that happens in your brain, especially for kids when they're so impressionable. Seeing that, it could start them down a path that's, like you said, it ruins people's lives.
Yep.
So to see that in Pokemon, I think that's why a lot of people have an issue with it, because Pokemon is quote unquote a kid's or a child's game. I don't know if I agree with that statement completely, but I do see that like kids are definitely a big part of Pokemon. And
I
so
mean,
to have that come into it is kind of like icky, maybe.
yeah. It's not a children's game
I
because
don't know.
you go to the World Championship, there's different different age groups. So right
Yeah.
there it's already debunked.
Yeah.
And then when people say it's a children's card game, it's like most people don't play the game, so also,
Yeah.
debunked
I never
again,
played the game when I was a kid.
right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it's silly, but
Yeah.
no, what I will say is that like I think that aside, joking around, but it is something that is still pretty wholesome as a whole, and something quite innocent. The way Pokemon markets itself in Japan, it's
Mhm.
wholesome, it's family, it's innocent, it's fun, it's friendly, it's inviting,
Mhm.
and all the online digital gambling is pretty far removed from that, right?
Yeah.
So it
That's a
just
good point.
doesn't, in
Yeah.
my eyes, it just doesn't fit together.
Yeah, it
I
is.
don't
It
know.
is pretty separated. That's a good point. Unless you're going to seek that stuff out, which you don't have to do too much. If you go online to YouTube, it'll be in your face. Um, but yeah, if you're not looking for that stuff, it's pretty far removed, like you said. And it could be a more casual experience for most people.
I mean, imagine going to the new Poke Park in Yomiuri Land next February and walking into a hall and it's all just slot machines for slaps, right? I mean, that's just
It might
it's never
happen
gonna
one day. Who
happen, right?
knows?
It's never gonna happen. But yeah, of course, we open packs. It's a little bit of a gamble, sure, right? Or you buy the little what are they called? Like they have like these different box. Like it's like mystery packs, but for toys. Like Pokemon does that as well.
Oh
Where you like
yeah,
six different types, and you get one of them. Or just in
yeah.
Japan, Gachapon. I'm sure there will be Gachapon at Yomiuri Land, right? But that's just it's so different. It's so
Well,
different.
what, maybe not a slot machine, but what about a vending machine that has slabs, or who knows? Vending
Definitely
machines
not
are
there, but
yeah, probably not.
yeah.
Um, yeah, I'm excited to go to that park. Hopefully, I don't know if the lottery for the buying the tickets happened already, but my wife entered. I got to ask her to see if I don't know if they announced results or not, but
I hope you get to go, man. I'll go eventually. At some point.
yeah, I'm
Yeah.
I don't like crowds, so if I do win this initial release or entrance, I don't know if I'm going to enjoy myself. This is going to be packed, I know.
If it's anything like the Pokemon centers in Tokyo, good night.
Oh, no, yeah, I went to Osaka a couple months ago or a month ago, and I'd never been to a Pokemon Center. Well, I'd been one previously, but I don't know if I just went on a wrong weekend or something. But the line was like snaking around the Pokemon Center in and out of aisles, and
Oh my
like
god.
3 times, like it was you couldn't even walk in there. There was aisles that were just packed with people back and
Yeah,
forth through a line. I'm like, I like did a lap really quick, and I was like, okay, I'm not buying anything. Like
that's
there's
pretty crazy.
yeah, I was like, this is totally different than the Pokemon Center we have here. I thought our line was long sometimes, not even close.
I remember when I went to the one in Okinawa, like when I was there, like last year, 2 years
Yeah.
ago, not sure anymore, but it was so chill. I was just walking around. It's like, oh, there's room to walk around. At the time, having only like been to the ones in Tokyo recently, I was like, I can actually walk around and take my time to look at this. That's crazy.
Yeah, I had no idea
Yeah,
until I got to another Pokemon Center like in mainland. I was like, this
yeah.
is terrible. This is not fun.
And of course, Yomiuri Land, where Poke Park will be, is very close to Tokyo, or it's, I mean, it's essentially in part of Tokyo. Like it's that close.
Before we end this, we have some Q&A. The first one we have here is from Tazzy Fish. Said, why do humans collect things like trading cards? Does it satisfy a deep-rooted biological need? Has capitalism trained us to want what happened? To want things, or who cares? Just give me the Mega Dragonite. What do
Which
you
one? The SAR or the gold card?
Oh, it's on a timer, that's why it keeps shutting off.
Oh, it's on a timer. Yeah.
I had to take the timer off. I don't know.
Chuck shared this question with me earlier before we started recording, and none of us, or neither of us has like a real answer. I don't think. Like, why do humans collect? Um, my first instinct was to go to Google Scholar and try and look at some academic articles on this topic, and there's some interesting ones. There's one I found on men collecting dinosaur fossilized eggs, and that being like a like a male thing. It's like it's weird, but obviously I don't know why we collect, but I think like haven't humans collected since forever? Like
Yeah, I would think so. How many eggs do you have? That's what I want to know. How many dinosaur eggs
there's
do
no
you have?
dinosaur eggs. But like
Um,
it's an interesting question, right? I wish we had an expert on to answer this.
yeah, without taking the question too serious, I think it's partly answered in his question, like capitalism being a part of it, at least from my perspective. I mean, obviously, a long time ago, like you said, this might be something biological inherently in us that feels like a need to collect something or a desire to collect something. But I think it's been amplified by capitalism. In my mind, I know I like collecting things and hoarding things, and I think that's partly due to maybe capitalism or consumerism, maybe is a better word. But uh, I I do want to make a Dragonite SAR. You have
Yeah.
several actually. Do you have them nearby to share
No, I
everybody?
don't have
Maybe
them
we should.
nearby right
Oh,
now.
okay. I
Yeah, I
bet's
got I
pulled
got lucky with the
three
packs.
three gold Dragonite SARs out of how many packs?
Somewhere between 50 and 60. I
That's
think.
wild.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy.
You have the
But
hot
I don't know
hands.
if it's a capitalism thing, by the way. I'm not sure because like I remember when I was like really, 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 really young. I guess maybe already affected by capitalism. I guess. But my granddad gave me his old stamp collection,
Mm.
and I thought that was the coolest thing ever. Like looking at the different stamps and the little pictures and the different colors, and I organized them in the little stamp folder binder, like based on which ones I like the most and the colors. And like I was way too young to, be
Yeah.
aware of any value or what, like I don't think capitalism is the answer here.
Yeah,
Um,
maybe capitalism. I meant like consumerism, amplified by consumerism. At least how I
yeah,
felt. But I do remember being a kid. To your point, collecting like I called it like a junk jar, and it was a glass jar. And I would just, like a kid, you put things in your pockets and you pick them up
yeah,
and you just put them in there, and they're just random like rocks or paper
yeah,
clips or whatever you find. And
yeah,
I'd just fill this jar with just like this stuff. And that was my
yeah,
favorite thing. I'd had it next to my bed and I would just look at it and I'm like, oh, look at all this. And it was nothing, but it was,
yeah.
before I knew anything about capitalism or any of that. But I think as an adult, um,
Uh,
maybe consumerism has, tied in a bit, but
Yeah, I think once you get into the all the value stuff, then definitely consumerism comes into play. But like maybe on a like a you know psychological level, I think it also has to do with just sentimental sentimental value, or like humans being aware that we're not here to stay forever, and that you could
Mm,
try and hold on to the past a little bit. Like, we talk
yeah.
about nostalgia all the time, but even little memories from vacations or trips. Like I've
Mm,
always kept some things from certain moments and times, and like
yeah.
I
Like a
got I
ticket
got a couple
stub
rocks
or
here from some
something.
hikes in Switzerland that I went on. Like little things like
Yeah.
that. And it's
That's
just
true.
memories of good times to then reminiscent about. I don't know.
Yeah, that is a good
Yeah.
point. Yeah, because that's something that I would do or have done in the past, where you like go on a trip and you're like, keep your plane ticket. Your first, trip where you took a plane somewhere, maybe.
Right.
Like people would be like,
Yeah.
oh, this is my first plane trip. Yeah, it's like it's a piece of paper, but it's a
Yeah.
representative of that memory, that moment you had.
Or
That's
even if
a
you think of it, like back in the day when we still printed out photos, you put them into a photo album, right? That's a
yeah,
collection of pictures. It's not
yeah,
something you collect, but it's a collection of something that you keep and look at and cherish. I don't know.
true. Yeah, good points.
Memories.
Next question here from a platypus. She asked, "What was your first Pokemon?" This is for you. What was your first Pokemon card, and who is your favorite Pokemon?
That's very
Do you
difficult.
remember your first Pokemon card,
I don't remember my first Pokemon card.
or
I
one
remember
of
my
your big?
starter. My starter was Squirtle, so I rolled with
Okay.
Blastoise. The first one I picked, but it would have been from one of the starter decks. It might have been from the two-player starter deck or from one of the theme decks, base set theme decks back in the day. I had those
Mm.
before I got packs. I remember that. Um, One card I remember vividly from those days is the base set Alakazam. Not because it was my first one, but because it's just one card I remember having in the binder for some reason.
Mm.
Um, you know, for some reason that card just stuck in my memory, and so uh, I'm gonna say that that's my first one, even though it wasn't really my first one. But that's the
Okay.
one. My oldest memory from a card is the base set Alakazam,
I was hoping you were going to
and
say base set Weedle. That's mine
I
and
should have said.
Oliver's
I
for
guess should have
yeah.
said. Should have said Weedle. I guess. Favorite Pokemon. I don't have a favorite Pokemon. There's a few that I really like. I like I like Gyarados. I like Typhlosion. I like this guy. My little my little guy sitting in the back of my videos sometimes. I like
Oh,
Metapod. It's
nice.
kind of funny. Yeah. I don't know. I like a lot of Pokemon. I always thought about you talked about this maybe even last time you talked with Oliver in your last podcast, but um, I think you were talking about like a Dragonite Master Set collection.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
starting one. Yeah, but it was very hard for me to get to that point of where I could decide like who's my favorite.
exactly. Like that made me think about that as well. It's like it would be cool to do like a Pokemon collection, like all cards from one Pokemon, but I can't pick one to roll with, so I'll have to think about that.
That's where I was at. It's probably been like a couple years in the making, and I haven't been too like hard on like trying to decide, but come back to the thought time and like every couple weeks or months because I see somebody on Instagram with like a sick Jigglypuff collection or something, and I'm like, oh, this person, like, they're super passionate about it, and once it's curated in the binder and the cards are placed in certain ways, and then some people add like postcards in the binder too, and then
Yeah,
or they decorate
that's
their, I'm like, this is really cool, and so I've been like trying to figure out which one, and I think I have several favorite Pokemon, but Dragonite's definitely like the top probably, or one of the top, so I think I'm going with him, and then Marshadow I decided too because Marshadow is one of my favorite.
that's cool.
There's
I
like
might go
8
with
Marshadow
Gyarados.
cards.
Gyarados is a lot of cool artwork. Some of my
Yeah,
favorite cards are from Gyarados. But yeah, I don't know. It's tough. Like I also don't want to pick one that's like has like all these expensive cards.
yeah,
It's like yeah.
that's what I was thinking too. I was like,
How about Kabuto?
yeah.
No, no, no. Um,
I was thinking Pikachu collectors. Rip to Pikachu collectors because that's a never ending. You're never gonna
yeah,
finish. Like there's
yeah, yeah. One thing
I
I
don't
did
even
do
know
is
if you
I have
get
an
close.
artist binder of Aya Kusube. She's my favorite artist. She
Mm,
doesn't have that many cards, but she has a lot of really, really nice cards. So that's something that interests me a bit more than like just focusing on one Pokemon. I like focusing on an artist. But
that's
there
cool.
as well, you got to be careful because some of those artists, like Komiya, so many cards.
Yeah, and
Nishida, you're
some of
never
them are
gonna complete
expensive.
Nishida. You're never gonna complete Nishida because she did the illustrator. So like that's GG,
Yeah, yeah,
right?
Nishida. Yeah,
Yeah,
she's like
but
probably
yeah,
one of my top. That Nishida and Himeno are I think my top artists, like most
they're
favorite.
super nice. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, very cool. I think that's it for all the questions and topics today. I appreciate you coming on and talking to me. You might be sick of me by the end of this week. We have another live.
Oh yeah,
we have
yeah,
a
right. It's not.
we have another live. I was thinking about it the other day. Henry's like Saturday, and I was like, oh yeah, thanks. Like, cause he was working with me and trying to get me. And I'm like, man, Nick's gonna be sick of seeing my face. And
No,
like
no,
we've
no,
talked,
no.
it's like the same topic we've talked about.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I try to change it up a little bit with this one. I was gonna go into some of the same stuff, and I was like, no, we'll kind of try to shift a little bit, shift gears a bit. But yeah, I appreciate you
Oh,
coming
very
in and
cool.
filling as the first guest of the Weekly Weedle. I know people were excited when I kind of I linked the live in Oliver's Discord, and they were like, "Oh, is this the person that's coming on
Oh,
to
that's
do Weekly
awesome.
Weedle?" So they were excited to hear from you and see what you had to say about things. So before we go, do you want to, I guess, shout out your channel once more or say anything, closing statements? You don't have to if
Oh,
you don't want to.
just yeah, a huge thank you for having me on. Like it's a huge honor to be a first guest somewhere. Like you considered me. Like that's crazy, but really appreciate it. So thanks to you and thanks for Oliver as well. Yeah, you can find me on YouTube under Dark Ibex. Same on Instagram. If you have some questions about Japan, Japanese card shops, whatever, shoot me a message. And yeah, thank you. It was a lot of fun.
All right. Thank you for coming on. See you, everybody.